I'd like to kick it off kind of where this whole thing kind of spurs off, and that'd be Florida State. Last year went undefeated,
Oh God.
won the ACC. Of course, Jordan Travis went down with a season-ending injury there towards the end. Um, and I feel like that's one of the main reasons the CFP leaves Florida State
That was
out.
before rivalry weekend, right?
I
That was
believe
like, cause they
so.
had they were playing a nobody. They were playing a nobody when Jordan Travis got hurt.
I think it was. I think it.
I think it was before, cause who they play? Florida? Yeah, they played Florida with Rodemaker,
And then
and then Rodemaker got hurt against Florida, I think, or in
yeah,
practice that week.
it was. I believe it was in the game, and I believe it was like a hit. I can't remember if it was to. It was either
I
like
think he
to
was
like the.
running.
Yeah, he was running and he extended on the play. I believe either his knee got hit weird or he took a weird shot to the head and neck area.
It was his knee because he broke his leg.
Okay.
I
So
know he
yeah.
broke his leg. Um, but um, Florida State should have gotten in. Alabama shouldn't have gotten in. I'm sorry, you lost to Texas. You got your you got your ass handed to you up front against Texas. Now, granted, you beat Georgia bad up front. You beat Georgia bad up front, and I did not think that was going to happen. That's why I thought Alabama was going to lose that game. But um, I didn't think Alabama was going to have the guys up front to be able to beat Georgia, and they beat Georgia's ass up front. That's why they won that game on both sides of the ball. But like you went, all we heard for the last 10 years was win and you get in. Florida State did everything everyone asked them to do, everything you could be asked for, and sure, you could say they wouldn't have won the games without Jordan Travis. They wouldn't have won 13 games. It doesn't matter. They won the games. It doesn't matter. You telling me if Jalen Monroe got hurt, that Alabama wouldn't have gotten in? If they were in Florida State's same position? They went 13 and 0 in a Power 5 conference. How do you not get in? Winning, you get in. That's all we were told the last 10 years. And then you leave a 13 and 0 Power 5 champion out. And bowl game, it's an irrelevant argument. Nobody was playing. Nobody cared. I thought Florida State should have came out better. But I mean, those guys didn't care at that point. Like they've been demoralized because they deserved to be in.
So now I'm gonna argue the other side on a couple of your points here. I agree with the college football committee in some things saying that Florida State should not have gotten in. I personally was subject to having to watch the ACC championship. Terrible game. It was an
So
awful
was the
game.
Big Ten championship. Those games were both
Um,
on at the same time. I was miserable.
but having seen that and comparing that Florida State team then to compare it to the team that had beat Clemson in Clemson earlier in the year, that was a fantastic game. Especially being a South Carolina fan, loving to see Clemson lose. Great game. And coming it down to the wire, fabulous. And then they were able to beat quality opponents, but it was not the same roster going in. And you look at that ACC championship game, clearly it was their defense that won that game. Their offense could not do anything. In fact, neither offense could really do anything. But you go and
Let
you
me
look at go
let
ahead.
me argue something. They would have had Rodemaker back week one as the CFP. Rodemaker would have been back. So the problem was the last thing in the committee's eyes was that freshman. I can't remember his name, but the last thing in the committee's eyes was the freshman. I think that's what killed Florida State. Rodemaker would have been back and it would have been a little bit better. But you beat, I think it was Florida. Florida's not a bad team. I mean, they went 6-6, but they had a rough schedule this year. I think they went 6-6 or 5-7, and then they beat like a good Louisville team. It wasn't like the old Louisville teams where they just try to win on offense. That defense was good. The defense was good. I thought Louisville was going to win that ACC championship game, but somehow Florida State pulled it out. So, I mean, you go 13 and 0 in a Power 5 conference, like, I'm sorry, Alabama lost to Texas. You, in my opinion, there's a better argument to put Georgia in. But, I mean, they would have left. Either way, if they put Florida State in, they would have let Texas out to put Alabama in. We would have been having the same conversation. Either way, but I
So
mean,
I, as much as I don't like Georgia, I think their fans can be extremely annoying, but I think Georgia should have gotten it. Two-time defending national champion. I mean, extremely well played for most of the season. They had some struggles early on in the first half of most of their first half games. Gave us a little bit of hope there. Came out and just demoralized us in the second half. Their defense destroyed our offensive line, as many teams did this year. I think Georgia should have gotten in. I think Michigan should have gotten in, especially with that win over Ohio State there in rivalry week during that Thanksgiving break. I think Bama should have gotten in over Texas, even with Texas having that head-to-head win. And here's why. I
this
think
is an
Bama,
awful take. What?
Bama,
Texas
I think
beat Alabama.
that was no. It's a different Bama team at the end of the year. A,
I
a
don't
lot,
care.
a lot more quality wins than what Texas had. Texas lost to an Oklahoma team. It was a decent Oklahoma team, but the Big 12 is not anything I would compare to the SEC. I don't think it's as competitive. And Bama having wins over LSU, Ole Miss, and
LSU
Georgia,
was trash this year.
they're
LSU's not a quality win. LSU was trash this year. They had a
still
good
more,
offense. They had a
still
good
more.
offense, but they couldn't stop anyone on defense.
It's
Name one guy that could tackle on that team.
still more competitive than the teams in the Big 12. My
I
point is that
mean,
my point is that Alabama's schedule. They had a tougher strength of schedule, and they came in the second half. They were able to fix their problems. They sorted things out on offense. Milrow heated up at the end, and yeah, they had a close call there in Jordan Hare with that 4th and 31. But they were able to win games when games mattered.
so head to head doesn't matter. So Ohio State should have gotten in over Michigan then. If we're going to use that argument. I mean, Michigan beat us, but I mean,
No, Michigan had a better
so
record.
so
So
all right,
hold on,
let's
hold on.
put hold on. Say we have a 14 playoff this year and Oregon beats Ohio State in Eugene, right?
Hmm.
Oregon goes or say Oregon loses to Michigan and wins the Big Ten championship. We're gonna put Ohio State in, even though they went 11-1 and have as many quality wins. Or say Oregon loses to Washington.
So, but you're saying Oregon's winning the Big Ten, and then you're saying put Washington over a Power Five champion or Power Four
No,
champion.
Ohio State.
But
Head to head does. So you're saying head to head doesn't matter?
no, so I'm saying that head to head in this case wasn't as strong of a case as it usually is.
It
I,
always is a strong case. You were
okay,
better than Alabama.
Joey, hold on. Texas beat Alabama. Yes, I'm not denying that. They beat them pretty handily in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Bad Bama team at the start of the year. I will admit that. Bama at the start of the year, rough. That USF game, rough. But they cleaned it up in the end. And same record, I would honor an SEC champion, regardless of what their ranking was, regardless of what their head to head was, over a Big 12 champion, just because that SEC schedule is a lot harder than that Big 12 schedule.
Like you can't that's so faulty because head to head has to matter. You went on the field and you beat them in their house. Head to head has to matter.